Don't even think about buying the property in Destin until you watch this video, because this market is not like most places in the country. I've seen buyers spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and even millions on property here, and only to realize later that they bought the wrong type of home in the wrong area with the wrong expectations. Not because they made a bad decision, but because no one explained how things really work here. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the biggest things that you must understand before buying property in Destin, Miramar Beach, or anywhere along 30A in the Emerald Coast. Whether you're looking for a vacation home, investment property, or future retirement spot. What's up, everyone? It's Danny Wills Margliano with World Impact Real Estate, DestinPropertyExpert.com, and StayTimeVacations.com. My wife, Michelle, and I are local realtors here on the Emerald Coast, and we've helped tons of people just like you buy, sell, and invest in homes and condos from Panama City Beach over to Destin, 30A, Freeport, Fort Walton Beach, and some of the communities in between. Okay, let's jump into what you really came here for. Okay, section 1. This is not just one market. Okay, one of the biggest misconceptions that people have is that Destin's just one big area. This whole Emerald Coast, they call it just Destin. And, well, it's not. You've got Destin, Miramar Beach, Okaloosa Island, Sandestin, and 30A, and all operating under different rules, pricing, vibes, and rental dynamics. But many people call all of these areas Destin, even though they're different areas or cities, and they're really actually in two different counties. So, two different homes that are 5 minutes apart can have completely different rental potential, insurance costs, taxes, regulations, lifestyle feel, and appreciation trends. For example, some areas are heavily geared toward short-term rentals, while others are much more quieter and the more residential communities. Some places feel like a resort town, while others feel like a laid-back village. So step 1 isn't find a house. Step 1 is understanding which area matches your goals. To give you a little more insight, and without really getting into too much detail, let's consider 30A. It's going to be your premier luxury area around here. You're going to pay a considerably higher purchase price or amount when you're buying a home or condo on 30A. And the rental ratio, believe it or not, the rental ratio between purchase price and rental income, it's actually lower than what you'll find over in Destin, Miramar Beach, or Okaloosa Island. There are fewer condos on 30A, and this is the really big thing. The height restriction is only 50 feet for buildings. There's not a lot of touristy things to do around 30A either. Destin, Miramar Beach, and Sandestin, they'll have a lot of high-rises that line the beaches. Okaloosa Island, it's more mid-rise condos and only has a few single-family homes. The closer to the beach you get in any of these areas, the more short-term rental properties that you're going to find. The further from the beach, and the more you're going to find of primary residence. If you're looking for a second home or primary residence, there are some condos and neighborhoods that restrict short-term rentals close to the beach in all of these areas except Okaloosa Island. And everything on the north side of Highway 98, well, primarily that's going to be where all the locals and the primary residents are. Section 2, the true cost of owning here. A lot of buyers come down, they fall in love with the beach, they see property online and assume that the price tag is the main cost. Well, I'm going to tell you that's not necessarily the truth all the time. Coastal ownership comes with expenses that surprise many people. The first one is insurance. It's a big one. And between wind coverage, flood insurance in some areas, and rising premiums across Florida. This can significantly be higher than inland markets, but you can find extremely reasonably priced insurance policies on many properties here. It really just depends on understanding where you're looking. In many cases, one home may have a very reasonably priced insurance policy, and the neighbor may be paying double. It sounds crazy, but it's true. And there's many variables involved, but the main ones are which flood zone that the property basically sits on, the age of the property, sometimes the elevation, and the materials used to build the home can all affect the insurance cost. Then you've got property taxes. You've got HOA fees, especially in condos, maintenance from the salt air and the humidity, landscaping, pool service if you have one, utilities, reserves for repairs. Same thing with you're going to have furnishings, costs if you have a rental property. And you're going to always have general maintenance. If you're buying a vacation home that you only use part of the year, you got to remember these costs, you're going to carry them 12 months a year. This doesn't mean it's a bad investment. It just, you need to go into it with eyes wide open. Section 3, rental income reality. If you're planning to rent your property, this part is huge. Many buyers assume that beach rentals just print money nonstop. But in reality, the rental income here is very spread out. It's actually very condensed. Excuse me. It's a seasonal area here. So you're going to make most of your money in peak season, which is summertime, June and July, half of August. That's where most of the revenue happens. You have spring break and fall, and they can be really strong too. And the winter, it tends to be quieter unless you're going to target some snowbirds. So your income, it depends heavily on things like how close to the beach you are, the walkability, amenities, property size, the parking, interior design, presentation, competition nearby, professional marketing, management, and so on. So two similar homes or condos, they can perform completely different depending on these factors. And this is why we often help buyers analyze realistic rental projections. And they're not based on best case scenarios. You want to do realistic projections. And for many homeowners, having a professional management team in place makes a huge difference in occupancy and guest experience, especially if you live out of state. That's where Staytime Vacations, our short-term rental management company, comes into play. We not only can offer a one-stop shop for you, but it also gives us the ability to have much more insight into the properties than your average realtor. Okay, section 4, biggest mistakes buyers make. Let's talk about these traps. The biggest mistakes I see is buying based on price alone. Just because something looks like a quote-unquote deal, it doesn't mean it performs well as a vacation home or rental. And the same goes if it's your primary residence. So lean on us or your realtor for advice and make sure that the other costs involved in this property isn't the reason why the property may be priced so attractively. Hidden costs, you gotta look for them. Other common mistakes are buying too far from the beach access, not understanding rental restrictions, underestimating insurance, ignoring HOA rules, not considering parking limitations, choosing a layout that doesn't work for groups, and assuming all areas have equal demand. One of the biggest drivers of value here is convenience to the beach, or on the other end of the spectrum, the bay. Walkable properties often outperform drive to beach properties in both an enjoyment and rental appeal. When it comes to bayfront homes, they will have a night and day better appreciation and value than the neighbors right across the street. A home across the street from the bay, well, it can be half the price of one directly on the water, since the main value of the bay is really that view that you're going to get and the ability to have a boat right in the water in your backyard. You can't have that directly across the street. All right, so section 5, who Destin is perfect for. Despite the warnings, Destin is incredible for the right buyer. It's ideal if you want things like a vacation home you can actually use and enjoy, a property that can generate rental income, a future retirement spot, a second home within driving distance from many southern states, and strong tourism demand year after year. This area has some of the most beautiful beaches in the country, tons of dining, boating, fishing, shopping, and family activities, you name it. So it's not about whether you should buy here, it's more about buying the right property for your goals. Okay, section 6, what smart buyers do instead. The most successful buyers focus on strategy first. They ask things like, what's my primary goal? Lifestyle, investment, or both? How often will I personally use the property? Do I want to self-manage or hire a management company? What type of property fits my timeline and budget long term? Often, the best properties aren't the flashiest ones. They're the ones that balance enjoyment, usability, and long-term value, whether that's geared toward investment, vacation homes, or primary residencies. Section 7, why local guidance matters. Buying property in a vacation market is very different from buying in a typical residential city. Local insight can help you avoid expensive mistakes and narrow down options very quickly. That includes understanding which areas align with your goals, what properties actually perform well, what are some of the hidden costs to expect and what to avoid. Lastly, how to structure your purchase for long-term success. Are you thinking about relocating to the Emerald Coast of Florida? I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research. And I've linked it right below. From top employers to the best hospitals and a boatload of other stuff that you really need to know before making the move. The best part is this guide is 100% free. That's right, you heard it right, 100% free. Just click on the link in the description or in the top pinned comment. I hope this helps. All right, so after seeing this, and if you're thinking about buying a vacation home, investment property, or relocating to the Destin area, we'd love to help you put together a smart game plan. And actually, we've put up right here on the screen, you can scan the code and you can get a free relocation guide. So check it out. We can walk you through all the areas, the property types, the realistic expectations, and even rental potential if that's your plan. And if you do plan on renting your property, our company, Stay Time Vacations, it also can help owners maximize performance while keeping things hands off for you and stress-free while maximizing rental income. If you're ready to take that next step, reach out. You can call, text, or email. My info is all on the screen right here. Let's make it happen. All of my info, again, right here on the screen, and it's also going to be on the description below. So if you thought this video helped, hit that like button and subscribe for more insider tips about buying and living on the Emerald Coast. I'll see you on the next one.